session, we have learnt about how sound is produced. We know that sound is a form of energy. It is carried in the form of waves, and how sound is being produced. That is, the condition necessary to produce sound is vibration of a particle. Then we have learned what is vibration. To and fro motion of a particle from its mean position, that is from its rest position, is called as vibration. Then we have learned about various examples of musical instrument, like when we hit the drum, membrane of drum vibrates, which produces sound. And when we play a guitar, the string on it makes to and fro motion and produces sound. And tuning fork, this when sound is produced by a vibrating this prong, that stem like this of, you can see in the picture, vibrating prong of tuning fork produces sound. And also we have learned the which part of the musical instrument vibrates so that it produces sound. And if you see, musical instruments are classified into different types, like wind instrument, like flute. Here, air, the column of air vibrates and produces sound. And percussive instrument like tabla, drum, etc. Here, the sound is produced by vibrating, or when it is being struck, and the membrane of that drum or tabla, it vibrates and produces sound. And like harmonium, the metal reeds, or you can tell the strings which is attached to those buttons, which produces sound when air is blown through them. And the same way, string instrument like guitar and all, when the string is plucked, when they move, when they vibrate, they produces sound. And so sound plays an important part in our daily lives, and it is very important for us to communicate with each other. And we have learned that we hear wide variety of sounds in our surroundings, and sound is produced by vibrating a body. And what is vibration? The to and fro motion, or you can tell back and forth motion of an object, is called as vibration. Isn't, children? And so till now we have learnt about how sound is being produced by a vibrating body. And in this session, let's continue how sound is produced by humans. And when we speak, do you feel any part of our body vibrate? As we know that vibration produces sound, isn't it? And if you speak loudly, or you sing a song, or you make any noise, and if you put your hand on your throat, do you feel any vibration? Yes. In humans, sound is produced by the voice box, which is otherwise called as larynx. So what is larynx? Larynx is nothing but voice box. So in human, how is sound produced? Sound is produced by voice box or larynx. So if you speak, or if you swallow something, when you eat, if you put your finger on the throat and you can find a hard bump that seems to move, so this part of a body is known as voice box. And where it is found, this voice box, it is present at the upper part of the windpipe. Got, children? You can see in the figure, the voice box is present at the upper part of the upper end of the windpipe, and you can see two vocal cords. It is stretched across the voice box, or which is otherwise called as larynx, and it is stretched in such a way that it leaves a narrow gap or narrow slit in between them for the passage of air. And again, you can see here the voice box with labeling. You can see that trachea, or what it is called as windpipe, and here this voice box is present at the upper end of the windpipe, and you can see here two vocal cords, muscle-like structure. It is stretched across the voice box in such a way that it leaves a gap in between them, so that this small gap, it allows the air to pass through it. So when we speak, what happens? Air is forced into this small gap by the lungs. Got it? And because of this passing of air through the gap, it makes the vocal cord to vibrate. So as we know that vibrating object produces sound, sound is produced here by the vibration of vocal cords. Got children? So vocal cords are stretched across the voice box, and it is stretched in such a way that it leaves a small gap in between them. And when we speak, or when we the air is pushed from the lungs into that small gap, which makes the vocal cords to vibrate. Because of this vibration of vocal cords, sound is produced in humans. Got children? So when the lungs, it forces the air through the slit, that is the gap, the vocal cords vibrate and producing sound. And muscles attached to the vocal cords, which make the cords tight or loose. And you can hear all our voice are different from each other, isn't it? So the quality of voice, it depends upon the tightness or thin, how stretched, how much it is stretched. The vocal cord depends upon the tightness and thinness of the vocal cord. Got children? So muscles attached to the vocal cord, it makes the cord tight or loose. And when the vocal cords are tight and thin, that the sound which is produced by it will be different from when they are loose and thick. So let's see how the vocal cord function by various activities. See, you can find out, understand by doing this activity by yourself. You have to take two rubber strips of the same size. See that figure A, two rubber strips of the same size, and you place these two pieces one above the other, and then you have to stretch them very tight. Now you have to blow air through the gap between the two rubber strips. As air is blown through the stretched rubber strips, you can see sound is produced. Got it? The same way, vocal cords also, when the vocal cords that is stretched, like what is it? It is depends upon the muscle attached, isn't it? So when it is stretched, and it is stretched in such a way that gap is formed. So through that gap, air is produced. Here also, when the rubber strips are stretched, and through the gap, if you blow air, sound is produced. Or you can do the other activity, like activity B. You can see, you can also take a piece of paper. You have to make a narrow slit, so as shown in the figure, and hold it between your fingers. And see the boy, how he is holding the narrow paper strips with the narrow slit, and you have to blow through the slit, and you can see that sound is being produced. The same way, our vocal cords also produce sound in a similar manner. So this quality of sound, as I told already, depends upon the thickness and thinness of that vocal cord, isn't it? So in vocal cords, you can see that men's voice and women, children, their voice are different. That is due to vocal cords in men are about 20 millimeter long, and in women, the vocal cord is about 15 millimeter long, that is 5 millimeter shorter. But children, they have very short vocal cords than women. So that is the reason why the voices of men, women and children are different. For children, why voices of men, women and children are different? Because it depends upon the length and thickness of vocal cord, isn't it? How much it is being stretched. In vocal cords in men are about 20 millimeter long. Then if you compare this women, the vocal cord is 15 millimeter long, that is 5 millimeter shorter than men. And children, they have very short vocal cords. That is the reason why men, women and children voices they differ from each other. Now, so now till now we have learned about sound is being produced by vibrating a body, and we have also learned how sound is being produced in humans. Now, once the sound is produced, it travels, isn't it? So now let's learn how sound travels, that is propagation of sound. So sound, it needs a medium for propagation. What do you mean by propagation? Travel. Sound has to travel from one place to other. Then only if somebody talk, we can hear, isn't it? So sound needs, now let's learn about sound needs a medium for propagation. When you call your friend who is standing at a distance, and your friend can able to hear your voice, or the same way when your friend who is at a distance, if he or she calls you, you also hear his or her voice. So from this we can understand sound travels, or we can tell sound propagates. So how does sound travel? So let's understand this propagation of sound by various activities. First, you have to take a metal glass tumbler and make sure that it is dry, and you place a cell phone in it without, that is empty glass, metal glass tumbler, and you have to place a mobile phone in it, and you ask your brother or you ask your someone to give a call, and now you can see that mobile, that ringing sound of mobile. Now what you have to do is, now surround the rim of the tumbler with your hand, see as shown in the figure, and put your mouth on the opening of the tumbler, and now ask other to give a call in your mobile. Now you can listen the ring while, and what you have to do is, you have to suck the air from the tumbler. And now when you suck the air from the tumbler, you can see that the ringing tone of a mobile become fainter. And if you could suck air completely from the tumbler, means nothing is there. What do you call that as vacuum, isn't it? So sound cannot be heard. So from this, what did you understand? Sound cannot be travel or propagate in vacuum. Got children? For sound, in order to propagate, medium is necessary. Here, air is a medium. You can see gases, isn't it? Air is a medium for the sound to travel. So children, so from this activity, we understand that sound needs medium. Here, the medium is air to travel or to propagate. Now, let's find out, is sound can travel in liquid also? Yes. So for that, let's do this activity. You take a bucket or bathtub, fill it with clean water, and you take a small bell in one hand and keep the bell inside the water to produce sound. And you make sure that the bell does not touch the bottom of the bucket or tub. And now when you ring the bell, you keenly hear the sound. Now make sure that water should not enter your ear also. Be careful. And if you hear sound, can you hear the ringing bell, sound of a bell? Yes, you can hear. So from this, we understand that sound can also travel through liquid. Got children? So first activity, we have learned sound can travel through air, that is gaseous state, gaseous medium. And now in this activity, we understood that sound can travel through liquid. And now what is left? Solid state, isn't it? Now let's do this activity. You may have played along with your friends in school, and you take a metal scale and you ask your friend to scratch at one end of the scale, and the other end you keep it near your ear. Can you hear the scratching sound? Yes. So here the metal scale is a solid, isn't it? And so from this you can understand sound can travel through solid also. Or you see the figure here, you can in classroom you may play this, or you might have played this. and one end of the desk you keep your ear, and the other end of the desk ask your friend to scratch, and you can hear the sound of the scratching sound. Isn't it? Here the desk is made up of wood, so we can tell sound can travel through this solid wood also. And you might have played a toy, make a toy phone, and you might have played in your childhood, isn't it? And see here, from this, that is how to make a toy phone. You can take two paper cups and make take one thread and make a hole in the paper cup, and both the cups, and attach the thread through that hole, and make both the end of the thread you attach one matchstick so that the thread will not come out through the hole of the paper cup, and two cups which are attached by the thread. And you ask your friend to keep your this one paper cup near his or her ear, and through the other cup if you speak, he could able to hear your sound. Or the same way you do, you keep your one paper cup in near your ear and ask your friend to speak, you could hear his or her sound. So from this we understood even sound can propagate through that thread also. Thread is a solid, is it, children? So from this activity we understood that sound can travel or propagate through solid state also. So children, from these activities ensure that traveling of sound happens in all the three states, like gaseous state, like air, liquid. We have seen that activity in water, as well as in solid state, like scratching of metal scale, or scratching on the wooden table, or by through that string, etc.